Hello, my name is Katie Worsham and I teach flute at Amarillo College. And today we are going to be talking about how to put together your flute and align it properly. And now this is a bit of an overlooked skill, but it's so important to line your flute up properly so that you can get the best sound possible. All right, so let's talk about the parts of our flute. First, we have our head joint here, and this is of course where we blow and produce our sound, right? Then we have this long piece called the body of the flute, where it has the most keys, right? So when you put together your flute, you're going to put your hand not at this end, but at this end where you've got a little bit of a barrel right here, right? You're going to put your hand at the very end of the body, and then you're going to put your hand at the very end of the head joint. And this is very important because this metal down here at the end of the head joint is very thin. So we don't want to jam it in there or at an angle or twist it harshly, right? We're just going to make sure we're putting the head joint and the body together straight, right? And we're going to gently twist it in there. Now, when you're putting in your head joint, you're going to make sure that the outside edge of the embouchure hole, so the edge that will be facing away from you when you're playing, right? That edge is lined up with the very first key here. So I like to look at my flute like this first, make sure the edge of the key and the edge of the embouchure hole line up that way, and then I will look down my flute like this. And then you're going to have about a quarter's width between the shiny metal of the head joint and the frosted metal of the head joint. And it's hard to see on camera, but at the end you'll have a bit of frosted metal on your head joint, and you want about a quarter's width sticking out of the body. And this is going to be slightly different for every flute, but that's a good starting spot. So now we have our final part to the flute, which is our foot joint, right? And this foot joint, you always need to be careful when you're putting it on because you don't want to crush any of the keys on the body or on the foot joint itself, all right? So you're going to put your thumb on the outside key right here, the one that's already closed. So you're not closing it while you put the foot joint on. And then I curve my hand over the rest of the keys and the rods. I'm not crushing them, I'm not touching them at all. My fingers are resting on just the metal right here. Right? And then I put my hand at the end of the body, kind of where we put our left hand to put together the head joint in the body. I'm going to put my right hand there now, and I'm going to make sure that they are lined up properly because this metal at the end of the body is also very thin, so you have to be very careful when you're putting these together, right? So make sure they are perfectly lined up, and once they go in easily, gently twist it on. And there's your flute put together. We're going to line up the center rod of the foot joint with the center of the final key on the body of the flute. And there you have it. When you're putting together your flute, if you experience some difficulty twisting it in, it might be tarnished. And so take a polishing cloth and gently buff that out at the very ends of the flute, and you can even stick your finger inside of it with the polishing cloth covering your finger and gently buff out the inside of the joints as well, and that should help clear away any debris that might be sticking together that makes your flute a little bit more difficult to put together. And that's really important as well because if your flute is not twisting together gently, it's going to also wear and tear on the metal much more quickly. All right, so you are ready to start playing. We are here at Amarillo College to help, so please let us know if you have any questions.